Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness, day 137 of 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT. And we're working nice and easy, baby. Nice and easy. Good morning, Liz. Good morning, Yusuf. How's it going, guys? Good morning. Good morning. All righty, let's get to the magic. Oh, shoot. No. My phone died. All righty, welcome back. Good morning, Marcus. How's it going? Who else is with us? Lakeisha, Mary, Selena, Mark. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Cesar Amaral. Dímelo, dímelo, dímelo. ¿Qué pasó? All right, so we're going to get into our reading routine. And if you guys are joining us for the first time and you don't have a book, just feel free to refer to an online resource. We're currently reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And we've turned the halfway point, and we're going into the third and fourth quarters of the book. So we have a couple new options for our next book, and I'm excited about that. But till we get there, I will see you guys all on the other side.
Well,
Beautiful. Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so we just finished our reading routine, and now we're going to transition into our journaling routine. So if you're joining us for the first time in the journaling, what I usually like to do is, one second. In the journaling routine, I usually like to start off with things that I'm grateful for. And the two most important things that I'm grateful for are waking up early in the morning or just waking up, and exceptional health, or having exceptional, being in exceptional health. Then I usually go on to talk about yesterday's successes and what I learned and how it was beneficial to me, etc., etc. And then if there's things that are on my mind, or there's scenarios or realities that I wish to experience, then I go ahead and I write those down. So it's just really a good way to define your goals and define your pathway for the day, and, so on and so forth moving forward. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But other than that, I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, my friends, welcome back. Welcome back. Rodolfo, buenos días, compadre. Okay, so jumping back to the book here. So, over the last few days, we've been talking about pretty much like the starting of America and the premise of the people's mindsets who were the founding fathers. So instead of it being George Washington, right, who was known for fighting the wars, had the army, this, that, and the other, Napoleon Hill shines a spotlight on Richard Henry Lee, John Hancock, and Samuel Adams, and how it was their motivation, determination, innermost burning desire for independence that actually was the primary cause of America's glory and America's freedom. And so the date to remember, I believe, was September 4th, 1774. September 5th, I think, 1774, rather than July 4th, 1776. And just to finish out pretty much what was happening. So the last time we talked, we also mentioned that the king was pretty upset at these men for wanting to be independent and for these men to want freedom from Britain. So Europe was watching with a heavy eye. But that decision came into existence, a nation destined to bring to mankind forever. When Jefferson finished the document, so we talk about moving into the first presidency, which let me see here, was Richard Henry Lee. So Richard Henry Lee on June 7, 1776, he was known as the president, or the unofficial president at that time. And he ordered the instruction for Thomas Jefferson to write the Declaration of Independence. Once he wrote the Declaration of Independence, that decision came into existence, a nation destined to bring to mankind forever the privilege of making decisions. By decisions made in a similar spirit of faith, and only by such decisions, can men solve their personal problems and win for themselves high estates of material and spiritual wealth. Let us not forget this. And so I think the primary takeaway here is, for all nations of the world, analyze the events that led to the Declaration of Independence and be convinced that this nation, which now holds a position of commanding respect and power among all nations of the world, was born of a decision created by a mastermind consisting of 56 men. So, when we meet for our monthly meetings and we get together, good morning, Kevin. How's it going, sister? When we meet for our mastermind meetings and our meetings get bigger and bigger and bigger, I believe that we will be able to start masterminding on certain subjects or certain, goals that we may have as a group. So certain impacts that we wish to have on society, this, that, and the other. When we look at the magnitude of what these 60 men did in their time together, it started with two, Hancock and Samuel Adams, with their idea to disconnect themselves from Great Britain. And then from there, they had followers and they created a colonist party. From there, they grew the group and provided structure and added structure. And then from there, they overthrew the entire government. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to create a coup and overthrow the government. Why would we ever want to do that? But what I am saying is that the power in masterminding and sitting at round table is a very good thing. And then to the final point of this chapter, people with definiteness, or people who have the ability to make decisions, are usually turn out to be good leaders and are usually people who create the most amount of success for themselves. So they may be used to bring freedom to a nation or to accumulate riches. There is no charge, save the time necessary to understand and appropriate them. Those who reach decisions promptly and definitely know what they want and generally get it. The leaders in every walk of life decide quickly and firmly. That is the major reason why they are leaders. The world has the habit of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going. Indecision is a habit which usually begins in youth. The habit takes on permanency as the youth goes through graded school, high school, and even through college without definiteness of purpose. The major weakness of all educational systems is that they neither teach nor encourage the habit of definite decision. That makes sense? That makes sense, right? And definite of decision is interesting because I had a really good friend of mine, like I said, maybe 4 years ago. He told me, he said, hey, practice being a decision maker. You know how for everybody out there who's potentially, seeking, like that significant other. Some people are like, oh, I'm so indecisive. I don't know how to make decisions. You make the decision. Or when you look at your significant other and you say, oh, what do you want to eat? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Forget all that. Scratch that. That's like, being indecisive. I mean, it's something small, but on a larger scale, it's still an indecisive practice. So for us to be able to say, okay, what do we feel like eating? We feel like eating something this, we feel like something like this. Okay, we're going to do this. And just making that decision, it's an interesting paradigm, I think, to mention. But that's like a really easy one, like that point of indefiniteness that you go through with yourself. Like, oh, I don't know what I want to eat. Well, no, just make a decision. Just like, with food, you have to make a decision as to what you want to do. Because when the longer you sit in limbo, the longer that the universe remains idle to helping you with your cause. And so definiteness and making decisions, if you don't do it in 5 seconds or in 3 seconds, then you're losing. And that's pause. That's not definite in itself in terms of losing, but it's an encouragement to practice. Okay, like the 5-second rule. I know a couple of us have talked about that. If it takes you 5 seconds to make a decision, you're more than likely going to talk your way out of it. Right? Yeah. Okay. I figured. Yeah. I think it was you, Liz, that we talked about that. And then I actually learned that at ACN seminar over in North Carolina. And the lady was really, 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 really powerful person. And so that's a really good practice, just to say, if I'm laying in my bed and I'm super tired, let's say, for example, and it takes me, more than 5 seconds to say, nope, you got to get up, then there's a strong chance that I'm going to be in the bed still. Definiteness of decision always requires courage, sometimes very great courage. The 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence staked their lives on the decision to affix their signatures to that document. The person who reaches a definite decision to procure the particular job and make life pay the price he asks does not stake his life on that decision. He stakes his economic freedom. Financial independence, riches, desirable business, and professional positions are not within reach of a person who neglects or refuses to expect, plan, and demand these things. The person who desires riches in the same spirit that Samuel Adams desired freedom for the colonies is sure to accumulate wealth. The person who desires riches, let me say that one more time. The person who desires riches in the same spirit that Samuel Adams desired freedom for the colonies is sure to accumulate wealth. One more time. The person who desires riches in the same spirit that Samuel Adams desired freedom for the colonies is sure to accumulate wealth. In the chapter on organized planning, then he gets into that. So I think all the answers are right here. They're right. They've been in front of us this entire time. This is just another affirmation to what we're doing on our journey and how it's going to be so successful for everybody who participates. And not necessarily participates in the journey, the journey to greatness every morning, but just really just participates in their own lives, right? And not, and just is just super aware. I think the biggest takeaway from that chapter and that whole like history lesson that we gave these last few days is that no matter the risk and no matter the future, if you have the burning desire to achieve or accomplish something, it can happen. Period. You may lose your life over it, but it doesn't matter because you died with your purpose on your heart. You died with that motivation, on your mind, in your spirit. And you died for a cause that you stood by 100%. So every single time we think about our goals, every single time we think about the things that we want to achieve, every single time that we think about the energy that we're putting in, the nights that we go sleeping with few hours on our mind, on our eyes, the days that we go working hard day in and day out, 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. and we're building this thing, always, 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 always remember you're doing it for a purpose. And you're doing it for a purpose that serves you and hopefully that serves the rest of humanity also. And so as a gentle reminder, the road may not be as easy as some people have it. The road may not be as hard as some people have it. But at the end of the day, we must always remind ourselves of why we do the things that we do. And so long as we stay passionate and that desire that burns within us to achieve material, physical, spiritual, and mental freedom, so long as that energy stays alive, then we will achieve it. I love you guys, and I hope you all have the best day of your life today. Happy Saturday. It's time to relax a little bit and take a load off. Go find some time to work out. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 a.m. Peace.